Welcome to IUPUI. In the next few minutes, I'm going to introduce you to the library resources available to you as students at IUPUI. I'm Sarah, one of the subject librarians available to help you with your research as you move through your coursework onto your degree. I'll explain how to get in touch with us in a bit. The main library on campus is University Library. The easiest way to find us is to Google IUPUI University Library. Once you're on our site, let me stop for a second and explain that you can access most of our resources whether you are on or off campus. The difference is when you're off campus, when you try to get into resources, you'll be prompted to log in with your IU username and passphrase. Let me walk you through the major resources on our site. First, you'll notice the big search box. The default is to search one search, which searches all of our resources. So you'll get books and articles. If all you want is books, click IUCat, which means IU Catalog. We have a lot of ebooks, so you can read them even if you can't get to campus physically. To the right, notice databases. These are collections of information. As you can see from this graphic, databases contain a lot of different things: articles, newspapers, art, data, and statistics in all subjects. So depending on your assignment, you'll probably need to use them. Going back to the home page, important things to note: our hours. You can see all our hours if you click on this. If you have a question, you can ask us. We're available in person and via chat, phone, and email. If you have a detailed research question, you can reach out to a librarian, and I'll explain another way to do that in a second. Back to the home page. Study space. If you're on campus, you can reserve study space and study carrels, so study rooms and study carrels. For research help, notice the guides at the top of the page. We have guides for individual courses, which you can also find in your Canvas course site in the left-hand navigation column, Library Research Guide. We also have subject guides. These are very helpful if you don't know where to start in your research in a subject. So for example, if you were in a political science course and didn't really know what resources were best for that, you could access the subject guide to find that out. Here we have top resources and other materials that you can find. Going back to the home page, we also have how-to guides. A couple I would like to point out. One, start your research. This is actually really helpful for a broad overview, a self-guided tour of the research process. So let's say you have an assignment where your professor says, find 3 scholarly peer-reviewed articles. You might think, whoa, what are scholarly peer-reviewed articles? Where would I find them and how would I search for them? Well, Start Your Research has you covered. You can see it takes you through beginning the research, the knowledge cycle, so the different types of sources, and then explaining how to find books, how to find articles, basic searching in databases, and also how to do citations. Another good part of this page, let's go back to the how-to page, is the how do I. So if you don't want to go through the tutorial but instead want quick information, this is for you. So going back to 3 scholarly peer-reviewed articles, how do I find articles? Ooh, we know we're looking for peer-reviewed articles. So then it tells us, so now we have a definition, so we know what we're looking for and what that means. But then where do we find them? Let's go back. I'm not sure where to search. How about that? Here we go. So deciding on where to search depends on your need. And then here we see that articles, you can find articles in some general databases like Academic Search. So now we have a place where we can maybe start to look for information. Research can be really complex. It's not always easy, and you shouldn't feel bad if you don't get it right away. That's why you're in college, to learn. If you knew everything, why pay to go to college? And that leads me back to the library homepage, because the other way to get in touch with librarians for in-depth research help is through guides and then subject librarians. So just like me, there are about 12 other subject librarians who do just want to be able to help you with your research. So you're not in this alone. You can find the subject you need research help with and reach out to that subject librarian to set up a one-on-one research consultation. We can also meet via Zoom, in person, socially distant, via email or phone. So this is a really quick overview of library resources available to you as a student at IUPUI. Now I'm going to transition and show you how to search for information. And while I strongly recommend that you use the Start Your Research tutorial for full information that I showed you a second ago, I'm going to do a quick search here so you'll see how to quickly get in and look for information. And I'm going to show you two different ways, one search and databases. When should you use one versus the other? Well, use one search if you are new to a subject or topic and really don't know where to begin. So as an example, let's say you need to write a paper about gun rights. So I always start with a sloppy search. So you just put in your keywords and see what you get. You can always refine or edit your search once you've done it. So one search is nice because it gives you background information on your topic when it's available. It's not always available. But you can see here gun control, they give us an overview. So if you don't know anything about your topic, I encourage you to take a minute to look at that background information. It can help you with keywords for your search. Remember my earlier example of 3 scholarly peer-reviewed sources? Well, the nice thing about library databases is that they help you with that. So if you see here academic journal, that's just another term for scholarly articles and peer-reviewed articles. They all pretty much mean the same thing. So to get into the full text of the article, if this sounded good, you just click PDF full text. You can also look at the abstract to see if it's relevant. That's a quick way to determine if it's relevant or not. And if it doesn't seem relevant, you can move on. But you can also click wherever the record is, right? So that's how you get to the full text. Going back to the library homepage, databases is the other way to find sources on your topic. You want to use this if you know the name of a database or you want to use subject-specific databases. So one search that I just showed you is a general database. It has information from all different types of topics, business, history, economics. But sometimes you might want a specific database. And for example, if your professor says use JSTOR, then you really should use JSTOR. And we could do that by clicking J and then going down to JSTOR. But you can also narrow by subject here. So let me get rid of that filter. So if I'm looking for databases on a subject, this is a great place to go. For example, what if I have a paper in a business class? Let's choose business and see what we have. Every subject has best bets, which are good places to start. You make sure to read the descriptions though, because you'll want to choose the right tool for the job. In this case, we're looking for articles on business topics. So we'd want to go to databases that have articles like ABI Inform and Business Source Complete. Probably not Accounting Research Manager since it says it has financial reporting information, and I don't care about that for this paper. A note that all article databases search pretty much the same. So the example I did in one search, you can do that same type of search in other article databases that I've mentioned here. This is a brief overview of library resources available to you, as well as a quick intro to searching for information. Remember, don't hesitate to reach out if you need help, either via Ask Us or contact your subject librarian. And I am right down in here. So if you get to, here I am. So I have a bunch of disciplines, so just find my name and you can reach out to me and make an appointment. Good luck.